Hi, I'm Chris Andrade and I picked constitutional rights within disaster policy. To know how they fit into disaster policy, people must first know their rights. 70% of Americans don't know constitutional basics according to a survey produced by Newsweek. This means most Americans don't know their basic rights, so how will this help them in times of crisis? Basic constitutional rights. Amendment 1. This entitles citizens to the freedom of religion, freedom of speech, no infringing on the freedom of press, and the freedom of assembly. This comes to play because the media is still the main flow of information on a daily basis, as well as in disaster situations to keep everyone on the same page. This amendment was infringed upon during the BP oil crisis, where journalists were restricted on what they could photograph and film. Amendment 2 states a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed upon. This allows people to keep firearms to protect life and property. This is especially important during intense disaster situations where communications, infrastructure, and the government, including law enforcement and other security entities, are in disarray. The biggest example of this right being infringed upon would be in Hurricane Katrina's aftermath in 2005. Police were ordered for the confiscation of lawfully owned firearms in preparation of a forced evacuation of the city. The confiscation of the firearms were believed to cut down on violence and to make the process run smoother. Amendment 5 says no person shall be deprived of life, liberty, or property without the due process of law, nor shall private property be taken for public use without just compensation. This amendment protects from unjust arrests, your freedom, and private property. All of those aspects are especially important during disasters when those things may be easily taken from you in the chaos. This protects you from imprisonment or containment during these situations, as well as the government taking over your private property without compensation of equal value. Habeas corpus and martial law. Habeas corpus is a legal action where detainees can seek relief from unlawful imprisonment. Although it is similar to Amendment 5, Article 1, Section 9 states, the privilege of the writ of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion the public safety may require it. This happened post-Pearl Harbor in World War II when Japanese Americans were gathered and put into internment camps all along the West Coast based on their ancestry. How it all ties together. Knowing the basic rights helps understand how disaster policy works. An example of how the Constitution helps shape disaster policy framework. The 10th Amendment says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. This gives backbone to the bottom-up implementation pattern and gives direction to disaster policy and how it should be run. If people learn and know their rights in the first place, it will greatly benefit them during an actual disaster. It would help the public and the government to get on the same page, ultimately cutting down on the milling process and shrinking norm gaps. When citizens know their constitutional rights, it can help during disasters and hundreds of other situations they may face. Thank you.